Hey guys, it's Andrew here and welcome to my review of the 2014 Le Mans Test Day, which was held last Sunday. 2 sessions, 2 4-hour sessions, giving the teams 8 hours of running before they head into race week in just over a week's time for this year's 24 hours. So I'm going to kick off with Aston Martin Racing and their performance in the GTE class, mainly GTE Pro. And as a fan of the Aston Martin racing team, I have to say I'm a little bit concerned about where they're standing going into race week. My main concerns came from the morning session, where we saw pretty much for the whole field that guys were getting straight out there on the track as the green flag waved for minute 0, doing installation runs, getting their test programs going. Meanwhile, the Aston Martins were in the pits and not budging anywhere, and there was an interview on Radio Le Mans with Bruno Senna. They asked him, well, what's going on, why aren't the Aston Martins on the road? Bruno saying, oh, we're letting the track clear up. Now, I like Bruno Senna, I think he's one of my favourite drivers in the WEC, but I don't buy that. They had problems on Sunday. I don't know what they are, and I'm pretty sure that they've got them fixed because they did plenty of running later in the day. That said, they weren't particularly quick. They weren't particularly high up the order in GTE, and I just worry where they are going into race week. They've not got the sheer pace that they had this time last year. Balance of performance is probably playing a factor in that, and I have read that they have been given back the 5 litres in their fuel tank capacity, which they lost, I think, before Fuji last year, which will play to their advantage in the race. Means they can do longer stints, maybe even stretch out to a 14-lap stint. But I still think they're going to lose to Porsche and maybe even Corvette. Moving on to LMP2, and what really caught my eye at test day was the performance of the new Ligier P2, the new spec P2 car built to the new rules, and the speed it had out the box. So this is a totally new car. The Le Mans 24 Hours is the first competitive outing for this car, and I'd hoped beforehand that in the hands of Alex Brundle and Jan Mardenborough that this would be a contender for the P2 class win. Over on the Codemasters forum we've had a good chat about the prospects for the cars in this class. But the big question for me for this car was its reliability. But I think what we saw on test day, that it's got fairly good reliability, especially for a new car, and it's got speed out of the box. And with that young squad, both Brundle and Mardenborough finished on the P2 podium last year once all results got sorted out. I'd keep an eye on that Ligier, the Oak Racing Ligier. That could be a real contender for the P2 win. And the car looks brilliant as well. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, go across to the Daily Sports Car. I'll probably put a link in the description below. The new rules are producing beautiful P2 cars, coupe cars with a roof, like the current P1s. And if this is where P2 is going, and I believe it is, I really like what I'm seeing. A really good looking, good car that's going to produce really good racing as well. Lastly, I just wanted to briefly talk about LMP1. I'll go into more detail in my Le Mans preview videos, which are coming this time next week. We saw Toyota reaffirm their position as pre-race favourites with a 1-2 for the timesheets on Sunday. So yep, they're going to be favourites most likely going into the race. But interestingly, for me, the performance of Audi. Now I myself and some others were a little bit perplexed, a little bit worried about Audi's performance, particularly their Le Mans Aero car, which they took to Spa and struggled for straight line speed, struggled for acceleration coming out of Eau Rouge. That number 3 car, or that number 3 squad, which is carried over into Le Mans, were 3rd fastest, and they were fastest in the morning as well with a really lightning quick time. Looks like they're going to be the car Audi do something a little bit different with, maybe try and get the headline of pole. But for me the key thing was to get that fastest lap, especially in the first session, you need to have good top line speed, you need to have good acceleration, otherwise you're going to be nowhere down the Mulsanne straight. Audi aren't the quickest, they're not the quickest through the speed traps, but I think they've definitely improved, and I think it brings them back into the game that they can rely not as much on their reliability pedigree to pull them into contention for the win. They've got some of that raw speed, and I think they've probably got more speed to get out of the car in the next few weeks than Toyota have in theirs. Interesting points to ponder over the next few days. If you've enjoyed the video, then please give it a like, and if you want to see those Le Mans preview videos as soon as they come up, why not click that subscribe button. I've been Andrew the Blade, see you guys later.